Hello and welcome back to another video with me, Meoni, for Final Fantasy XIV. Today we're looking at Live Letter 67. This video will be a summary. It's a fairly long summary because the actual live stream itself was many hours long. To give you just an idea of that, I started the live stream at 2 AM my time, GMT, and it didn't end until it was 7:41 AM. So there we go. That's pretty much how long this was. Forgive me if some of this is a little bit slurred, or if in any way I sound tired. It's because I am. Anyway, let's get on with this. So first of all, the biggest problem, the biggest elephant in the room, is that Endwalker has been delayed. It will not release on November the 23rd, and instead it now has a release date of December the 7th. That will be the official release date of Endwalker, December the 7th. Early access then will instead be December the 3rd. So if you've had time booked off for that, unfortunately, this has been an unavoidable thing, and you might have to rearrange that, or, well, I don't know how people are going to deal with that, but unfortunately, it is needed to be done to ensure the stability of the game. Naoki Yoshida was incredibly sorry to the point of tears on the live stream, and he recognizes the decision was actually late and, as he says, last minute. They decided, in fact, last Friday at the time of recording, to actually postpone the release, and they had concerns raised at even the board level. So it's obviously not an easy decision to make, and whilst many people will knee-jerk react saying, I took time off for this, I know. It's unfortunate, it's very bad for some of you, but at the same time, would you rather play a bad, buggy, horrible game that doesn't work, or would you rather have something live up to the hype as it needs to be, basically? That's how I feel about it. It's unfortunate, but unfortunately that's just the way it is, right? So, like I say, December the 7th is the original, the official launch, and the early access will be December the 3rd. Trust me, it is well worth the wait from what I played in the media tour. So he goes on to say basically how he feels like it breaks some of the trust between him and the players, and he owns up to it. But the team will continue to strive hard with 6.0, but also with content beyond, and to fulfill what we are looking forward to. This does affect the schedule then for releases. This new schedule is posted here up to 6.05. So as you can see, all of the dates there that you might want to bear in mind. So then they show a trailer for Endwalker. This is actually apparently the launch trailer, which is amazing. We'll have to do a separate video on that, breaking it down. It's quite a lengthy thing, and there's lots to look at, I can assure you. But definitely go check that out if you want to go look at that. A link will be in the description of this video, hopefully, if I remember. So various elements of PvP and crafting and gathering feature heavily in this letter from a producer live. There will not be any stuff to do with Island Sanctuary. That's actually a feature planned for the entirety of the 6.x series, although they do say they will have a visual representation and a walkthrough of that in the future, but obviously that is not scheduled for 6.0. The recap happened, which basically I ended up skipping here, but they basically talked about the previous stuff that we talked about in the last live letter. They also have these lovely slides as well, talking about key characters. So we'll briefly go over these then. So we're not going to read through these. You can pause if you want to read through these. We've got Thancred there. Then we have Y'shtola mentioned. Nice little backstories, actually, sort of relevant information if you need to catch up. Then we have Urianger, which obviously all the information pertaining to Charlian is coming through in a lot of these dialogues. Alphino there with his write-up. Then obviously we have his sister Alice as a key character. Grahatir has this nice lengthy sort of write-up here if you needed to know more about Grahar. Then we have Tataru's write-up, which is really quite nice. One I'm quite excited about is Kryl, her write-up. Presumably she'll be involved quite a lot considering her backstory with Charlian. Then we have Estinian, of course, joining us as a trust now, an Endwalker, some backstory with him. We have Xenos, obviously our main antagonist, our main bad guy, potentially, with some talk about him. And then we have simply known as the Lady of the Light, which many of us are believing to be Vanar, right? But obviously it's not stated here, and it's got some cryptic information on that. But yeah, that's pretty much that section of recap. I thought it was nice to include those slides if you wanted to go and look at them yourself. So basically, we have a new system announcement straight off the bat. So apparently, whilst you're on quests in the game, the MSQ quests, some NPC characters can actually board your mount, follow behind you, and interact around you as well. You see this in this screenshot here. They're actually following the Warrior of Light as you're moving around doing your quests, and they have their own conversations. This is actually another storytelling feature that you might be familiar with in other MMORPGs such as World of Warcraft, where you have an NPC following you around, giving you dialogue, extra dialogue basically, extra storyline. And apparently you'll also be able to use G-Pose with this feature. So if there are some funny moments with conversation at certain points in the storyline, and they're tagging along and they say something, say for instance Alisaie and Alphino have a bit of a joke, you'll be able to G-Pose and take pictures, which is really, really awesome. Moving on to more features then, talking about role quests, just a little bit more information on this. It says, with a new quest line for completing all 5 quest lines, that's going to be added in 6.1 or later, they say. So once again, they're going with the whole complete all the role quests and you get new role quests. Very interesting. The role quest this time around will not be mandatory for the completion of the MSQ, unlike how it was in Shadowbringers. So you won't be required to do your role quests to actually complete the MSQ, but obviously it is highly needed really for you to understand your role, basically, and finish that off. Additionally, there will be no level 90 job quests in this expansion. They actually see the stories finished of each of the jobs as of level 80 with those quests in Shadowbringers. So no level 90 job quest, but presumably a level 90 role quest. So on to just a brief thing for Disciple of Hand and Land. There will be now studium deliveries. These are, once again, basically the crystalline mean that we had in a Crystarium in Shadowbringers. There will be 5 quest lines for Disciples of Hand and Land, similar to the Crystarium deliveries, and of course the crystalline mean, but all about the Sharlayan Studium. So new quests will also be available when you complete all of the 5 quests there as well, which they don't want to talk about, so bear that in mind. If you've done the Crystarium stuff, you'll know what we're talking about. Moving on to dungeons then, they just want to recap and show a couple of pictures. So we've got the Tower of Zot there, the first picture. Then we have somewhere that's on fire with trees, question mark. Then we have that Eureka style looking dungeon. This looks like a dungeon that you'd find in Labyrinthos, honestly, if I'm to put any money on anywhere. And then that Garlean dungeon as well. For the trials, they just put secret, but it's likely to be Anima and Mega Sisters, right? That's what we're thinking at this point. Could be wrong. It could be something completely different, but we'll have to wait and see. In terms of the raid then for Pandemonium, Part 1 got a name. It's called, I'm going to pronounce this badly, Asphodelos. Asphodelos. That's coming in both a normal version, obviously, in 6.01, and the Savage in 6.05. They also have a sneak peek, which I'm going to show you here, just some footage of in the background. It's basically, I'm getting massive vibes from Final Fantasy 2 here, but also I'm getting vibes of like, do you know the end of Dunscaith when you're dealing with, just before Diabolos, where you have Skatash, right? All that kind of stuff. It's very sort of evil stuff going on there. There's also statues of what looks like Tiamat. So like all old style Tiamat, you know, the Hydra type boss. So who knows what that might involve, but so much speculation to have on this. It looks beautiful. They also show that there's a new treasure map dungeon coming in 6.05 called the Excitatron 6000. Basically, they have this picture showing this treasure map dungeon. Yeah, it looks like it's based in Thavnir this time around. On to small-scale PvP then. So we actually got full information on this with this screenshot. It's called the Crystal Conflict. This will be released in patch 6.1. There will be a new reward system as well. So the concept behind this is it's 5 players versus 5 players content. It involves short matches with simple rules that can be played casually. There is a removal of role-based matchmaking and actions. There's an addition of distinctive PvP actions and job-specific adrenaline rushes to this mode. They mention how everybody actually has a heal regardless of job, so that if you have no healer, you don't have to worry too much. You'll have some form of healing. So at a basic overview, 5v5 team competition. Each team forms with 5 different jobs with no role restrictions. It's supposed to be casual as one of the options. They also have ranked and custom matches with skill-based matchmaking, so just like the other PvP. So you compete then in this game to gain possession of a crystal that spawns at the center of a map. This crystal will then move whoever has possession of it. So if you possess it on the red side, it will move further into the blue base's side. Very, very simple. Whoever gets the crystal in the goal will win. Presumably when the timer runs out as well, if it's a stalemate, wherever the crystal is on which side probably wins as well. But they didn't say that. That's my assumption. There's a screenshot of different maps of this game mode showing a wide variety of places. We have obviously that place that looks like it's in the stadium. Then we have this windy floaty island place, which looks kind of amazing actually. It looks like a sea of clouds. I do like that. And we have this place as well, which looks to be like in the Ruby Sea actually, at the side of that giant volcano. They do say that the environments actually seem to have mechanics in them in the various fields. You can actually see lava covering the map in the screenshot. They mention how it looks like Bomberman, a reference possibly to Yoshi P's first ever gig back when he used to work at Hudson Soft, working on Bomberman. So they joke about that. There are going to be various maps available, with some of them with mechanics like this that activate. It doesn't really give any more information on how they activate or if you activate them or what, but that looks pretty good. So let's move on to season rewards then. There are ranking rewards for both tier and place. They mention titles, achievements, and other accolades. So now let's move on to the actual PvP system overhaul itself. So this is a big one. So there's going to be series periods. So series are a new thing being added. This is a tentative name. This is actually in addition to normal seasons. So they're separate things. During a series, a player may earn rewards by participating in any PvP content during each of these series. So as you can see, you can do any PvP and get the rewards. The Crystal Conflict has both a season then and a series, so you get rewards for participating during that time. This is much more inclusive rather than previous PvP with just seasons, obviously being with the Feast previously. Now people can get involved in both ways, but we elaborate more in this as we go. So players can earn rewards by accumulating series experience and raising their series level. So you do this by acquiring, basically doing PvP. The bar moves up, you get levels in there, and this gives you special tokens. The diamonds are rewarded for increasing your series level. This gives you access to redeemables such as gear, mounts, and many other items. The star icons then on here, as you will see, will be awarded for reaching certain series levels that they mark out. Then when you get a new series beginning, the series level will reset to 1 and the reward lineup will change. So basically this is a battle pass system, basically. So back to those tokens then, these special tokens. These tokens can be exchanged for various rewards. They're earned, obviously from a series, but they will carry over to the next series as well. So previous series rewards will eventually be available via a token exchange set of NPCs. So if you have not enough time to do the PvP series, and you're focusing on raid content, but you still want to get those rewards, have no fear, you should be able to exchange for those if you do some more stuff in the next series, for example. It's quite a nice retroactive thing and allows for player fluidity of whatever you want to actually spend your time doing, but also being more inclusive than previous PvP. They also mentioned that they might be returning the original Garrow event. This was just a sort of side comment as Yoshi P saw comments, but apparently they're in talks with everyone involved with that, so fingers crossed the Garrow event might come back, which is all the hype. The calling card system, this is a system then that rewards players additionally, lets you customize things. This allows for customization of your profiles. This will actually be displayed in PvP before a match begins. These will potentially, they say, be used outside of PvP as well, as an addition to the profile that displays in the character search window. So backgrounds and profile customization options will be added as rewards throughout the entire game, some as PvP seasonal and series rewards. And they have more to show on this in the 6.1 patch and obviously the future live letter documenting before 6.1 goes live. So basically, you'll be able to customize your character even further with a profile window so people will see something unique, or maybe like a banner or, you know, a specific set of words or something next to you when they look your character up, which is kind of cool as well. So let's talk quickly about Feast. Feast will be unavailable as of patch 6.1. They say they want to concentrate on the Crystal conflict, so they made the decision to close down Feast. That's their own words. The pre-season of Feast will still be available from 6.0 to 6.1. And Wolf Collar currency will still be available and tradable, so there is no need to discard those. The previous Feast rewards then apparently will be rolled into the new PvP Crystal conflict as rewards there. So I'm pretty hype about that, especially if it means the old mounts and things, but we'll have to wait and see what exactly those rewards might look like. Maybe the glamour, that'd be cool. So let's move on to crafting and gathering adjustments. Obviously, a bit of recap here. HQ items, high quality items, are no longer obtainable through gathering. Disciples of Land that need HQ items for quests will be updated to accept both HQ and normal items. HQ item delivery bonuses for Disciples of Land will be removed and base rewards improved, they say. Actions that affected HQ yields when gathering will be adjusted accordingly, and the requirements for achievements that involve high quality items will also be updated so that you can still complete them. This does not affect, as they say here, any item that's crafted. Those will still be able to come out as high quality crafts. New actions will be added and existing actions will be adjusted. Obviously, recipe progress and quality values will be adjusted in accordance to value downscaling across the board. Along with that, further adjustments are being made so that the difficulty of crafting HQ items will not increase significantly in 6.0. So it'll be just a numbers change, as we talked about with other stuff previously. So talking about mining and botany, new actions and existing ones will be adjusted. Apparently there's going to be a change of perception in Japanese, because apparently perception doesn't work very well, but it's not going to change for English. Just a weird name change. Greater perception heightens the chances of triggering Gatherer's Boon, they say, which increases yield by 1. Actions that increase the probability of obtaining high-quality items will also be replaced with actions that increase the probability of Gatherer's Boon instead. Talking about fishing then, new actions and of course new adjustments to the old ones. Large-sized fish will now appear in the place of high-quality fish, and action descriptions will now be adjusted to reflect that. Perception will also affect fish collectability. Talking about spearfishing, they have a new UI with a brand new minigame. You actually press a button to strike in time with the fish passing in front of your spear to lunge at them. It kind of looks quite fun. I could get addicted to this quite easily, honestly. I might have to return to spearfishing. It's a little less boring than the current text-based thing that they currently have. Leve or Leve, however you pronounce that, reward adjustments. So the amount of gil rewarded per Leve quest will be adjusted in light of gil inflation. The experience and gil rewarded by tradecraft and fishing leaves requiring a large number of items are currently too high and will be reduced. The experience and gil rewarded by certain other leaves will be increased. They note that experience values might appear reduced in some cases, but that's due to the downscaling of numbers once again. So now we're on to system adjustments, which is a very big section. They do a recap on the required and earned EXP downscaling to lower numbers visibly and reduce lag. They say all classes, jobs, retainers, and trust NPCs will be affected by this. Time, number of duty clears, etc. required to level up, however, remain unchanged. It is just a number change, as we've talked about previously a lot. Leveling alt jobs then. So this is a big one. Any experience there will be subject to a mid-level experience reset in 6.0. So basically the database must be overwritten, they say, to implement the downscaling of values. As a result, any experience accumulated between levels prior to 6.0 release will be reset to 0. So if you are currently halfway of your samurai being level 80 and it's currently level 79.5, if you don't get that to 80 before 6.0, it will be reset just to 0 experience out of however much is needed. Your half a bar or whatever, how much of your bar filled will be removed. So this is a bit of an incentive to finish off any stuff that might be in the middle or experience you don't want to lose. Make sure you do that before 6.0 releases. Talking about new Allegan tomestones now, they're going to be called the Tomestones of Aphorism, that's the basic ones, and Astronomy, which is going to be your larger, more harder to obtain ones. So Aphorism Tome Gear is obtainable, so you can get some really nice stuff. This is actually Final Fantasy IV reference things with these examples, looking really good there. I really, really love these outfits. I cannot wait to actually get these. Yeah, I'm very happy that they've been added to the basic tomestone, the aphorism there. Very cool. The two tomestones themselves, though, for Astronomy will be available 4 weeks after 6.0 release. And the number of tomestones needed for weapon exchange, they say, are being reduced from 1,000, which what it was previously, to only 500. You'll still obviously need your crystals and things, or whatever the item is from the normal raids to collect as the other part of that, but you only need 500 tomes rather than 1,000, which is a big deal. That's a nice change, actually. Quite good. Next up, he shows this Savage gear from the new raid, which looks really good. It looks really good. Lots of white, blinding weapon sort of models there. I cannot wait to wear some of that stuff from the next tier of raiding. I cannot wait for that. Also, he shows some lovely glamour stuff, this sort of cloaked outfit. That's going to be another glamour outfit. And then a big one, they're actually releasing the Omega series outfits. They say that their plans are for these to be released on the Mog Station cash shop. So expect to see lots of people dressed as Omega, F and M very soon. Next up, a big one, Vieira and Hrothgar hairstyles. Apparently they're working very hard on this, as we've talked. When I had my interview with Yoshi P, he talked a bit about this as well. But here are some examples of new hairstyles for those races. Very cool stuff indeed. So 6.0 has more hairstyles for female Vieira first of all. Apparently Hrothgar hairs will be available in 6.1. And Vieira males were designed differently from females and have less restrictions apparently. But yes, so as you can see, lots of cool stuff for the Vieira. We're getting there. We're getting there. So apparently a bit about new scripts for crafters and gatherers. There's going to be purple crafter and gatherer scripts. That's what they're calling those. Next up, talking about the achievement UI overhaul, which we talked about in a video and also in my interview with Yoshi P. It has a new notebook style planner or notebook design. They show us footage of this as well. It looks really quite nice. Exactly as it was previously, but quite nice, fleshed out. They really want to make this a much more visually appealing thing and more useful thing going forward, and make achievements more interesting. So let's see what they do with that. They then actually show us footage of a new Arian Collector's Edition mount flying around, which I did a video on as well, which, you know, I go into further detail on that. And then they show us some minions. So we've got Palom or Porum, I really can't tell here, which looks absolutely adorable. Then we have this little Bambi, little deer thing bouncing around, adorable as all heck. I cannot wait to get that. It's fantastic. Then we have a picnic minion, so much like the campfire minion we already have in the game, you can summon this and pretend you're on a picnic out in the world. It even moves around and has an animation where it closes and opens, which is awesome. And then we have one of my new favorites, this amazingly adorable little crab. So now we can crab rave our way through Endwalker, which is just pure perfection. Then we have a little slime guy that was briefly shown that's kind of, well, I don't know, he looks awesome, doesn't he? And then this cute little bat guy as well. Yeah, it's very cool. They do assure us there's lots of new minions and mounts in Endwalker. They didn't want to show us too much, as many of them are quite spoilery, so that's understandable. They just wanted to show animals, really, and stuff that wasn't related. So group pose can now be activated whilst playing an instrument. A small detail, but one that was highly requested, apparently. So that's a thing now. The company action back on your feet will be replaced with a new action that extends sprint duration within cities. They say that basically sprint will now last until it comes back off cooldown if you have this up, but it only works within cities, so you can just permanently sprint around. That's quite useful, actually, especially if you're crafting or leveling up somewhere. Items containing a random minion or mount, like a gacha system, will be added to Grand Company Seal Exchange. This is explained to be random and also include fireworks and other garbage as well. It's not a guaranteed mount or minion, but I'm interested to see what mounts / minions will be in those, actually. Very interesting use, a novel use of Grand Company seals for sure. They talk quickly about the M-Body Immerse Spatial Audio. I'm not going to go into detail here, but apparently this is a new third-party app that allows for spatial audio, which is 360-degree personalized spatial audio to 14. So this is a paid application, a third-party tool, the Final Fantasy XIV, endorsed by Square Enix. Masayoshi Soken comes out. It's lovely to see him again to talk about the spatial audio, which is awesome. It's quite a complex thing, but apparently you just imagine surround sound, but without placing the speakers around you. It's just digital. Very, very interesting. But it's nice, again, to see Soken, and he hopes that we all enjoy Endwalker and that he's feeling fine, which is nice. Next, we have a housing update. This obviously is to talk about the new residential district, which has been named the Empyreum. This was based very much on the Firmament. They're adding 24 wards and 24 subdivisions, which is 1,440 houses in total. In 6.0, you can look at the area, but the houses won't be available until the purchase is available in 6.1. So let's talk over that new land purchasing system. We got lots of details. Relocation to land that is not ready for purchase will no longer be available as of 6.0. This means you will not be able to have an advantage if you already own a house via relocation. That's a big change and will probably change a lot of people's plans for the future. Land devaluation will also be removed in 6.1. It's kind of already there, but they're just removing it anyway. You can barely notice it these days. It will no longer also be possible to grant brand new FC members authorization to purchase land or the rank of 3 company master. That's in 6.1. So obviously there was exploits to do with that, so that's something they're fixing. Yeah, you would need time to elapse for those rights to be grantable, they said. Yeah, basically, to prevent that. The lottery system will take over the previous system for house purchasing in 6.1. More information on this system will be released in its own articles, but they have more information on it here. To enter a lottery for a private plot, for example, you need to have a class or job at level 50 or above. It must also have the Grand Company rank of 2nd Lieutenant or above. Another character on the same service account must not own a plot on the same world, though, as they say, you may enter the lottery for the purpose of relocating to a new plot. To enter a free company lottery plot, the character needs to be a member of a free company with authorization to purchase and relinquish land, and also the FC must have at least 4 members and be rank 6 or above. Another character on the same service account must also not own as a buyer an FC plot on the same world, but you can still, as they said before, enter the lottery for the purpose of relocating to a new plot. There will be a schedule for the land purchasing lottery itself. This lottery schedule will be shared across all worlds and housing areas. As you can see in this diagram, the lottery period is over a series of days where players can view a plot's placard and enter the lottery, receiving an entry number. Then, after the lottery period has closed, the land acquisition period starts and then lasts for several days. This is where the winning numbers are decided and winners must claim possession of the land. If, obviously, stuff isn't claimed, then the cycle goes back to a new lottery stage for the following days. The lottery period itself then, each player may only enter a lottery for one plot of land during the lottery period, so you can't enter multiple. The lottery entry will take place at each empty plot's placard, where you can also see how many other people are also entering the lottery for that plot as well. This will allow you to evaluate the odds on what plot you want to go for. You must also pay the full price of the plot upon entry of that lottery. Unsuccessful players in the lottery are refunded in full later. They also made it so that you cannot withdraw after you enter a lottery to prevent misuse and obviously abuse of that system. So let's move on to more detail about that land acquisition period. As I said before, the winner can confirm via the plot's placard. They walk up to it and it tells them they've won. Winners must claim possession of their land within this period of time, or it will be forfeit. Only 50% of the purchase price of forfeit land will be refunded. Players who did not win the lottery can get their full refund within a limited amount of time, basically for a time frame at that same placard. And the time frame is supposedly 90 days before the guild will be lost. They don't want to host guild on the server for more than 90 days for that plot. They say they do finally wish to add more plots of land in the future, so there's that to look forward to as well. If you're worried about there not being enough housing, they do plan to add more in the future. Next, they talk about the Oceanian Data Center. This finally got a name. It's going to be called Materia Data Center. This is currently planned to open in February 2022, so a lot sooner than I imagined, actually. Worlds in the Materia Data Center will be treated as new worlds with free world transfers and more bonuses available. So that's good news for any of our Oceania people who want to move to less laggy climes, let's put it that way, for free, basically. That's good. That's what we expected, but it's nice to have it written in front of us. Now, so basically they missed a little bit. They talked about the housing bonuses, little items that you can create and stuff. They show off this, which is a restaurant design or a cafe design for a new house style in 6.0. They also show a night shot as well, which looks really good. There's really nice close-up of the front of that. It has a balcony, look, as you can see, with places to sit and eat. How cool is that? That's awesome. Moving on then towards the end of the live letter, All Saints Wake will unfortunately be delayed because of a delay of, obviously, Endwalker. This means that All Saint Wake will be happening after the Starlight Festival and after Heaven's Turn, and then it'll be All Saints Wake. So this is going to be something like February, March. I don't know. That's crazy, but they don't want to cancel it because they put a lot of time into it. Their team worked hard, they say, with all of the stuff. So that's when that's going to happen. More information at a later date. And then finally, they talk about special news, mentions, and partnerships merch. Apparently, Yoshi and Foxconn will be reading the patch notes for 6.0 and the expansion live. This will be on December the 2nd at 11 a.m. GMT. The 7-inch Endwalker vinyl single is on sale. You can see the details on screen, scheduled for a November the 17th release date, if you want to still get that. There's a new comic book called Saki as the Saki and Final Fantasy XIV comic book, Volume 1. Japan only, but obviously you can ship that on various websites. November the 25th. that's available. And there's also a manga spin-off called An Academia Eorzea. This is a manga spin-off set in a school, and they show Alphino and Alice, which apparently releases this December in Japan. Quite an interesting one, that. Very cool. And that's pretty much a wrap. For all of that information, basically it finished at 7:41, like I say, and we started at 2 a.m, so I think I've done a fairly decent job to summarize that. I do apologize that this video is 36 minutes long, but it is how it is. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think about this. Hopefully I've saved you some time that I wish I could have saved myself, but we got some nice information, good details there, but it's such a shame about the delay. But if it means we get a less buggy game, then I'm all for it, absolutely. I'd rather have something playable than a garbage heap on fire. Much love, enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.